This is QNIT Sports. Let's talk sports. NFL Fantasy Week 10. What's up, everyone? It's time to dive in and get right into this thing. Week 10. It is almost the NFL Fantasy Playoffs. I think we got maybe 4 weeks left before we jump into the playoffs. I'll check the schedule so we can see how close we are to that. Also, I will go over a recap of week 8 and 9 and show you my roster lineup for week 10. I'll also show you the recap of my daily fantasy contests that I've played over the past few weeks. I'll also make my daily fantasy lineup for week 10 as well. Again, this is QNIT Sports. Let's talk sports. NFL Fantasy Week 10. I am your host, Lance Powell. Let's dive right in. Enjoy this episode. All right, so before we begin, gotta run you by the YouTube channel. Gotta let you know that we have one and that you should like it and that you should subscribe to the content so you can know when these videos are posted. Go ahead and hit that notifications button, and then you can even get notifications to your email, your phone, or whatever, and it'll let you know when that video drops. Okay? I know. I haven't dropped things on time in the past few weeks. And yes, I apologize for that. And I have been super busy with my job, super busy with my family. And you know what? That's just the reality of this thing. I've been playing though, have been playing, and I've been making the videos, and I'm going to post the videos. This is all about me documenting my process. It's all about me staying committed to making these videos week in and week out. And yes, the editing is done by myself. And yes, once I edit those videos, yes, I post them. But yes, I have been so busy with traveling and doing things for my family and doing things for my job that no, I haven't been able to get videos edited and posted. And I apologize for that to all of my subscribers. Now, in the future, we are going to get better. We are going to try to get videos posted and edited at a timely fashion so that you can use this content for your lineup selections. And yes, I am apologizing again. All right, but follow, like, subscribe, please, to the Q Niche Sports channel on YouTube. Q space niche NICHE space sports, Q Niche Sports on YouTube. Please like and subscribe. All right, let's dive into this thing. Week 10 of the NFL. Of course, you all know I use Yahoo Sports as my platform for doing my fantasy league and my daily fantasy contest. And I also, when using sports betting, I use BetMGM because Yahoo has a sports book that is powered by BetMGM. And BetMGM goes with you to different states. I was down in Louisiana and I used BetMGM. When I was in New Orleans, I was out in Las Vegas and I was able to use BetMGM. And I live in Memphis, Tennessee. And hey, I'm still able to use BetMGM here in Tennessee. The Hateful Eight League Week 8 result. So, QNIT Sports lost to Jeremy's team 127 to 161. Now, I'm just going to say this. When I show you the recap of this, you're going to be like, Lance, why did you not start Tony Pollard? 33 points from Tony Pollard. If I would have had him in instead of the Miami running back Mostert, Mixon, or Mixon, I would have had him in instead of one of those guys, I would have had 33 more points. 127 plus 33 is 160. I lost 161 to 127. Okay, let's see what else I could have done to him. Devontae Smith had 4.8 points as a receiver. Taysom Hill had 7.78 points as a tight end. I could have had Taysom Hill in instead of Mark Andrews because Mark Andrews got hurt. I would have won. I could have had Tyler Lockett in instead of Devontae Smith, and I would have won. I could have had Jacoby Myers instead of Devontae Smith and would have won. So what I'm saying is this game right here where I lost, Jeremy's team, yeah, 161 points, yes. But this was a winnable game by me, but I left 93 points on the bench. That's all I wanted to point out about that. Is that not a great decision for me at my running back, at my flex position, and at my wide receiver position. It wasn't great decisions made. Um, and because of that, I suffered this week, even though I scored a lot of points, and that was a tough loss for me. I was really unhappy, and that's another reason why it took me a while to go record another video. I was kind of unhappy. I was really down about it because I've been doing a lot of research, doing all these videos, and for me to lose like that, and my lineup not pay off, and I have all of those points on the bench, I didn't feel well about it because I'm like, I have the capability to do better, you know. And that's when it came to me to like, this whole process has to continue to be for fun. It has to be for fun. No matter if I'm winning, no matter if I'm posting the video on time, no matter if I'm losing, no matter if I'm gaining money or not, I should always just have fun with this stuff and not let it get me down and frustrated to the point where I want to quit. Because I almost literally said, I'm done with this after this game because it was that frustrating because I could have won this game easily with just having the right guys. And so, advice to anybody out that struggles with fantasy sports and it's frustrating them, maybe making them down and want to quit. Just remember you're doing it for fun. Even if you're doing it for money, like, and you have the funds to put it out there and use your money and spend on contests and spend on these leagues. Still remember, like, you're doing this for fun. Don't allow yourself to get down on it, frustrated to the point where you want to quit or not do what it is you're passionate about, like create content or entertain others or, you know, just simply show the realistic nature of what it looks like to play fantasy sports and not, sugarcoat it or make it seem like something that it isn't. Like, this is real life. I'm out here putting time and effort into this thing. So when you lose, you feel it, you know? Simple as that. But enough of my soapbox. Let's see what else happened in the matchups of that league that week. So also in week 8, looks like Bomb Squad won 169-96 over Big Game Players. Damn lost 90-130 to the PME Pythons. And Cadero's Knights lost to Raphael's team 113-101. So that was week 8 results. The blowout of week 8 probably going to be Bomb Squad versus Big Game Players. It's probably the blowout. It's crazy. Week 9 results. So very happy I got a win in week 9. Okay, because this was a shootout. And when I say it was a shootout, it really was a shootout. And let's just dive right into my game. And we'll see here looking at the bench. And this week I only left 26 points on the bench. And a majority of those points were scored by Tom Brady. And because Tom Brady and Tua are on my team, I've started Tua over Tom Brady. And Tua has been being successful. He had 24 points as opposed to Tom Brady's 15. So that was an incredible decision by me by starting Tua the last couple weeks. He has shown out and done the right thing, scoring more than Tom Brady. Now, so I felt good this week. My bench didn't leave a lot of points there, right? So looking here at my lineup this week, I had Tua, I had Tyreek Hill, I had Tyler Lockett, I had Mixon, Joe Mixon, I had Derrick Henry, Taysom Hill, who only scored me 1.12 points, which is better than what I would have had with Mark Andrews because he's hurt. So once that happened, I decided, you know what? I probably need to go pick up another tight um, just to be safe. So I'll show you who I picked up once we look at my week 10 roster. So looking at it here, I also had Raheem Mostert, who had 8.6 points. Basically, the touchdown he scored saved his game for that one. My kicker did pretty good with 8 points, Jason Myers. And I decided to pick up Kansas City and ended up getting 4 points out of them. So, what did I do that week? I got rid of Baltimore. If you look at Baltimore, you see Baltimore last week had 10 points. So that wasn't a great decision for me. I had Baltimore on my roster and then I decided to get rid of them. I looked at it like they're going against New Orleans. New Orleans is probably going to score a lot of points. Traditionally, I've been looking at Baltimore and I felt like they've been giving up big points against high volume offenses. And I thought that New Orleans could do that, but they were successful in doing that. I thought we would run into a situation where we would run into another Miami game, or we would run into a game like we were Giants or like Buffalo, but we didn't. So Baltimore actually is a pretty decent defense. Um, their next game is Carolina. Probably be a great idea to pick them up. Then they got Jacksonville, Denver, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Atlanta, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. So they got pretty much some great matchups the rest of the season. I'm probably going to pick them up and hold on to them if I possibly can, just because um, I think it's a great decision. Right now, though, I don't have another. But anyway, that's what happened in week 9. We won. So in week 10, so far, this is the lineup that I've chosen. I have Tua at the starting quarterback position over Tom Brady. Now, I know Tom Brady is supposed to be playing in Germany. And so maybe people think, oh, they're going to show out and have a great game. Uh, Possible. But then you have Tua going against the Cleveland Browns. And I believe that both teams will score a lot of points, personally. In a situation like this, we could look up ranks, quarterbacks. We can see Tua is a number 4 versus Tom Brady, who's number 10. I'm going to go with Tua. Simple as that. Now, Tyreek Hill, he's given. Tyler Lockett, right now, is a given for me because Devontae Smith has not proven to me that I need to start him. Yes, he's going against Washington on Monday Night Football. Just don't know. I'm so conflicted about it. I'm going to look that up too. Um, Derrick Henry, given. Tony Pollard, given. Because I don't have Joe Mixon. He's on the bye. And that's the only running back that I have. I could start Raheem Mostert at the RB2, but I feel more comfortable with him being at the flex because he hasn't proven it either. So it's like, what am I going to do this week in my flex? I have to either use Devontae Smith or Raheem Mostert, or I have to use. I mean, that's my options. Those are my options. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. Maybe I'll look on the waiver wire to see if there's somebody worth picking up. Um, we'll see. My tight end is TJ Hawkins, right? Really feel like that was a good pickup. He's been traded to Minnesota, and I believe he's going to score plenty of points for them. So I'm glad I picked him up, and I think he's going to do great. So we'll see. As my kicker, I picked up Graham Gano. I believe he would have a great game against Houston. He's been scoring pretty well all year, win or lose. And so Giants have been on the roll. I think he's a key part of that because of the amount of points he's scoring with these field goals that he's kicking. So he'll be a key point in them winning against Houston, I believe. And I also believe that the New York Giants defense will be a key point in them winning against Houston. They're not going to just be able to go in Houston and expect to win without playing some great defense. Yes, Houston isn't the greatest team, but I believe that you still have to play defense in the NFL, and the New York Giants have proven to do that. You look at their game log; they're doing pretty decent for a defense that's racking up some wins. Um, they're decent. There's some other defenses out there that I could probably pick up, but I feel pretty confident in New York Giants. Um, Special teams and defense. That's why I have the kicker and the defense. So that's my roster for week 10. I feel good about it, but I do have the option of adding a player because I have an empty slot out here for a player. Now, I don't need a quarterback this week, but I will next week. We'll go through that next week. So, what are we really in need of? We're really in need of a running back and a wide receiver. So let's just look at wide receivers to see who's out there. A fluky touchdown last game for Washington has at least 79 scrimmage yards in 3 straight games. So we'll face the Eagles defense in week 10, surrendering just 299 yards from scrimmage per contest, which is third in the NFL. So basically, what this is saying is the Eagles defense is going to bottle this guy up. I'm not necessarily sure that I want to get Curtis Samuel on my squad. Got Chase Claypool playing for the Chicago Bears. Is that a good pickup? Uh, Against Detroit. Detroit, fourth most fantasy points to wide receivers. When they went against Miami, he only had 2 points. He saw 6 targets in his Bears debut in line with his usage at his previous home. And while Chicago's offense remains a low volume passing attack, he'll have an inviting opportunity. Week 10 matchup against Lions defense allowed 7.8 yards per attempt and 268.5 yards per game through the air. I'm not sure. That's a risky pick. Let's look at him in comparison to what I have on my team. What this is saying to me is that Curtis Samuel is the only upgrade that I could have, or McCole Hardman, who's questionable. He's been having a great couple of games. Okay, so looking at McCole Hardman, he's suffering from an injury right now. He's questionable. Not a horrible pickup going against Jacksonville. You got Chargers, Rams, Cincinnati, Denver, Houston, Seattle, Denver, Las Vegas. So I mean, you got some people coming up. He may not be a bad guy to try to pick up and stash. Chase Claypool. Other than that, I don't see any other guys on here that I would want to stash that I feel like would really help out my squad. Now, this Curtis Samuel guy, this guy is interesting because he's number 14 in wide receiving. Let's look at all the players. All right. If we look at all these guys, I got the wide receiver 1, then I got the wide receiver 10. It's tough because Philadelphia is winning games. And why would I pick a Washington receiver over a Philadelphia Eagles receiver? I've made my final decision about adding a player. I have decided to add McCole Hardman. He is questionable. Yes, he is questionable. But I need another receiver on my team. Um, the only reason, like, I got four running backs when I look at this. I got four running backs, which are Mixon, Pollard, Henry, and Mostert. For my receivers, I have Smith, Lockett, Hill. So I need this guy on my squad. Oh, I got Jacoby Myers as well. I think I need this guy though. So I'm adding. And I don't have to drop anybody to do it. So that's great. So now I can go ahead and start him, right? Having a Kansas City receiver going against Jacksonville, I feel like it's better than a receiver going against Washington that hasn't been doing much this season, right? And going against, like, I mean, Devontae Smith. Let's look at it. We can compare, right? We can do this. It'll allow us to. Let's do Devontae Smith and McCall Hardman. He's beating. Look. Devontae Smith is beating in the projection, right? He's beating. He's winning in all these categories. But let me tell you where he's not winning. He's not winning in his quarterback, right? That's where he's not winning. His quarterback is not better than Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is going to throw the ball to everyone. Jalen Hurts is going to throw the ball to AJ Brown. That's what we have seen over the last few weeks. If you look at it and you look up, you look up Brown, right? 13 targets, 8, 10, 7, 7, 8, 11, 6. Got the targets, getting the yard, getting the touchdown, getting all the fantasy. That's just the truth. That's what's happening. And then you look at Mr. Smith. When you look at Mr. Smith, he's getting 4, 7, 12, 4, 11, 5, 8, 2. See that? It's below 5 is a norm for him. 4, 4, 5, 2. You don't want that. He had one big game, maybe a couple games he strained together. You thought he was going to do well when you saw this. But then this happened 2 weeks in a row. You're going against Washington. I mean, they went against Pittsburgh and Houston. And what happened? Brown had all the great games. So that's what I'm saying. I'm confused on Smith right now. I don't know what to do. So I feel like, yes, the experts, they're doing this and that, and they're got these ranks in here and all of that, but man, this is tricky for me. All the experts are saying to pick Devontae Smith over McCole Hardman. I just don't know how I feel about that. Let's compare him to Mostert. For the season, the stat line is better at rushing touchdowns, but less yards a cut, of course, because Mostert is going to get the more yards and the more attempts. But he's getting more targets, more catches, more receiving yards, more receiving touchdowns close to the wide receiver. Right. Projection for the season, he's higher up in rank and rosters and all this other stuff, right? Now let's look at remaining games. They're still giving the check to Raheem. Let's look at last year. Raheem, of course. Let's look at week 10. Still saying Raheem. Everyone is saying Raheem. Every single person. This guy is a guy that I'm picking up for when he's healthy. He's gonna do something for my team. That's the only way I can look at it right now. This right here is the NFL Yahoo Cup round 8 lineup that I selected back in week 8. And these are the results. I lost horribly. Like I said, week 8 just wasn't a good week for me that time. I had Tony Pollard in that lineup, but the quarterback that I had didn't do well enough. My second running back didn't do well enough. Uh, my receivers actually did okay, except for Devontae Smith. And then tight end did decent, but not as good as the tight end for the New York Jets, Tyler Conklin. Um, and then Derrick Henry, of course, had a great game that week and had 35.3 points. And the Titans defense actually did pretty well with 9 points that week. They had 3 sacks and an interception and only allowed 10 points. So it wasn't like I made horrible picks. It's just Devontae Smith did not perform and didn't have the best tight end and quarterback. So it wasn't that horrible. All right. Looking at week 9, round 9 of in the NFL Yahoo Cup. I picked a quarterback who I thought was going to get me some great points. He did not. Justin Fields showed out. Joe Mixon showed out. If you had those two guys, you probably would win as well. Because they're going to account for 95 points by themselves. Then my receiving core was pretty garbage. Unfortunately, they didn't do very well. And they did okay. Devontae Adams did good, Lockett did good, and Lazard did good, but it's just like it wasn't enough. My running backs, garbage. They didn't do well enough. Like it's just this was one of those weeks where you needed people to just simply score 20 to 30 points to to balance out against the high rise guys who scored 50 and 40, right? Because look at this guy's lineup. He doesn't have like some dramatic punching out at you people except that 40 and that 50. And so that's why he won. And so that's it's just that simple is that week to week you never know what's going to happen. And so I accumulated some points, but not enough. So that puts me to where I am now going into round 10. I am in 35,114th place, right? So the top 33% of the 165,611 participants in this contest. So when you look at this contest, it's you look at my league and you look at where I am in my NFL Yahoo Cup. Um, I'm not too far out. I'm got 751 points. I just got to do better. Same thing with my NBA Yahoo Cup. You just got to do better. you know. So we're gonna try to do better in our daily fantasy. And so let's go ahead and pick our lineup for the NFL Yahoo Cup that's coming up this week. Okay, so looking at this lineup, my lineup actually is over budget for daily fantasy. That's crazy. Again, we should have a great week in our Hateful Eight League if we're seeing this type of result. I'm going to spend my dollars a little bit more wisely then. This is the lineup. A lot of thought processes went into this. Prescott at the quarterback position, Derrick Henry, running back 1, Tony Pollard, running back 2. Wide receiver, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Tyreek Hill, Brandon Cooks. Tight end, TJ Hockenson. Flex, Noah Brown. Defense, Kansas City Chiefs. This is what I'm going with for the Week 10 Daily Fantasy lineup.